Hi and welcome to this tutorial. Today we're going to focus on the question, how would people you've worked with describe you? Remember with this particular question the importance and the relevance when answering. The interviewing panel are looking how your colleagues describe you in a working environment. It doesn't mean that you're the most fun on the staff night out or that you're the best football or netball player in the organisation. It really is about you in the workplace. The key point is to look at the job description first. This will tell you exactly the skills required for the job. For example, if you're applying for a retail position, you would want your colleagues to describe you as approachable, excellent customer service skills, and the ability to work under pressure. Likewise, if you're applying for a position in IT, you would expect people to describe you as analytical, able to follow instructions, and diagnose and solve problems quickly. Remember, as always, examples and evidence support the case why you should be employed. With this particular question, there are two techniques that can support you. Number one is give an example answer, and number two, provide a reference from an employer. This is always a benefit because having a reference demonstrates what your colleagues think of you. It could be a manager, it could be a supplier, colleagues, or a customer. The evidence should be written on letterheaded paper and should be shown to the interviewing panel after you've finished answering the question. Now, when answering a question such as this, use the CAR acronym. CAR just helps you organize your thoughts. You're not trying to remember the whole answer. And what it stands for is context, which means where were you working, what was the situation, what was your role. The A stands for actions, which means what actions did you take, and the R means result, so what was the result of those actions. What we'll do in a couple of seconds is give an example of how this works. Whilst working for my previous employer, I worked in a fast-paced retail store for a well-known fashion brand. One particular day, a number of staff were off absent, which left us short-staffed on a very busy Saturday. The actions that I took were to grasp the extra responsibility. I managed the tills and took on the responsibility of managing customers and solving their problems at the same time. I enjoyed thriving, working under pressure, and managing multiple questions and ensuring that all queries were resolved. I helped out in other departments to cover breaks and lunchtimes. I stayed behind at the end of the day to support other departments who were left severely short-staffed. Both customers and staff appreciated this commitment to addressing challenges. As a result, my manager thanked me for my hard work, determination, and my ability to stay positive whilst working under pressure. These are all important skills that I believe are essential to thrive in a retail environment. And this is an example of how many colleagues would describe me, and I have some references from previous employment which would support that description. So there's an example of a good answer, which has a clear beginning, middle and end. So what the situation was, what actions did the person take, and what was the result. And this is what makes people stand out, particularly if you can supply evidence as well. If you look at company websites, there's always testimonials on there. If you look at pages like LinkedIn now, most people have different references from colleagues or from suppliers, whatever they may be, because it supplies evidence. It's telling a certain story about that particular individual. And it's important that you do this at interview because it's very, very easy to walk in, and most people, when they hear this question, will just list a whole raft of skills such as passion, driven, work under pressure, which is great. But the key thing is it's all about evidence. It's all about you standing out from the crowd. And the best way to do that is, number one, give an example. Number two, supply references where possible.